Korean developers have really stepped up to the plate to deliver us really good experiences when Western devs do not care about our feedback at all whatsoever. And now we're finding out Stellar Blade's developer ShiftUp has reported record revenue in their Q2 earnings report. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I always love to see good games succeeding in companies that do try to listen to us, even if they stumble. And I know that Stellar Blade was definitely a tsunami of a situation, that is for sure. We were definitely very supportive, pre-ordering the game, very excited for it, and then we found out that there were a few instances of censorship, and yes, I completely agree. Any censorship is too much censorship, and we know that it happened at the behest of Sony, but I have got to be honest, Stellar Blade was still a big win because of how much it infuriated activists in the industry, because we still got a high quality experience, because it was just a very good game in totality, even if it still had some problems. And now ShiftUp is actually reporting record revenue in their Q2 earnings report. This is a That Park Place article. It says ShiftUp, the developer of Stellar Blade and Goddess of Victory, reported it achieved record revenue during its Q2 earnings reports. According to a report from Game World Observer, ShiftUp's revenue hit $48 million for the quarter, which ended June 30th, 2024. That is up 65.4% year over year. And furthermore, the company did not hit only record revenues, but it also achieved an operating profit of $33.1 million, which is up 49% year over year. Net profit grew 5.1% to $29.7 million. Now, even since the release of Stellar Blade, ShiftUp has been going through a lot financially. We know that they actually had went public and raised a whopping $320 million in its first day of trading after an initial public offering, which was pretty crazy to hear. But a big reason why I am also viewing this as such a win is not just because of ShiftUp, but because of Korean developers. I recently did a video, it will be linked down below, but Korean devs are actually reporting a massive burst of interest in single player console and PC games, and they are saying that players in the region and also outside of the region are showing an extremely heightened interest in their titles, which is fantastic because I want games to be successful. I say this all the time. I don't criticize the Western games industry or outlets or games because I want them to all be failures. I love video games. I am very passionate about them, and I want companies to do better. I want outlets to get rid of the activists and hire real gamers again. I want things to be successful. It's just that a lot of the people in the industry don't care. And I, like many other gamers, have been looking at Korean developers for higher quality experiences. Yes, there are definitely some Korean development companies and publishers who focus on predatorily monetizing their content. That happens with every single industry. It happens with Japanese companies, Western companies, Korean devs. It does not matter. There are always going to be kind of bad apples in the bunch who are looking to make a quick buck, but there have been some amazing Korean games that have come out just over the past couple of years, and ones that are planned that look like they're going to be fantastic. And it says the traditionally online and free-to-play based game industry of South Korean game development may be shifting gears. According to a recent report from Wesley LeBlanc in the final issue of Game Informer, developers and multiple studios like Round 8 Studio, Shift Up, and Pearl Abyss are seeing signs that players at home and abroad are attracted to single-player experiences on PC and console. He reached out to developers after seeing these companies releasing single-player games like Round 8 Studios' Lies of P, Shift Up Stellar Blade, published by Sony, and Pearl Abyss's upcoming Crimson Desert. These are games that are really freaking good. Lies of P was a fantastic experience. Pearl Abyss has not come out with Crimson Desert yet, but if it really is what they've promised, which is Black Desert Online, but with no poor monetization, it's going to be a banger of a release. And then Stellar Blade, which is why I'm tying this into the conversation, because Stellar Blade did mean a lot for gamers. It was a big victory. Again, even though there was censorship, and I completely understand that if they put out a Stellar Blade 2, we'd be extremely skeptical and there would be a lot of people who wouldn't support it. I still think that this is being viewed as a positive, outcome, and we are seeing developers take note of our feedback, and that is really what we've been fighting for, is to get developers to listen to us again, for them to take our feedback into consideration and make games based on what we want. And that is what Korean devs are doing right now. Even if we put Shift up to the side for a second, Round 8 Studios, Lies of P, Pearl Abyss, with a game like Crimson Desert, there are other titles that are coming out, like the first Berserker and Throne and Liberty, that seem to have a lot going for them, Vindictus defying fate. And these are games that either have come out and been smash successes or are going to be coming out and have a lot of hype behind them, that are not from the mainstream Western games industry. Western game development is in a very bad state right now, and it doesn't appear to be changing anytime soon, because these companies think that they know what's best. But at the end of the day, they're not creating games for themselves. They're creating games for customers, and customers are clearly not showing up to buy their trash. Games like Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, absolute flop, lost $200 million. Alan Wake 2 still hasn't even made back its $70 million budget. I mean, there are so many releases every single year now that are financial and critical failures. Never mind if you go back, say, a decade and you list all of them, we'd be here forever if I had to do that. And that is a big reason why I am someone who's looking to other regions for my content. There are a lot of great Japanese game developers. Unfortunately, though, there are a lot of them that, yes, are looking at investors, and those investors are throwing a lot of money at them, but they're ESG dollars, and that's not something that we want to support. And Korean devs have surprisingly, gone against the rising swell of ESG. They have not been, very easily swayed to add shallow diversity and inclusivity into their products. They are not adding messages into their products. So I hope that that is not going to happen going forward. I hope that these Korean developers can stay, we'll just say, like, independent, or keep to themselves, right? They don't have these investors who are throwing ESG dollars at them. They're not getting purchased by Sony Interactive Entertainments, and then Sony does exclusive deals with them or demands that they censor and alter their content. And we did see that with Stellar Blade, which was sad, but it was in totality still a good game at its core. There were still so many sexy outfits. We saw so many amazing looking female and male characters, lots of femininity and masculinity. We did see really great boss fights and gameplay. The game was a really solid experience. I just wish that this hadn't have happened, the situation with Sony. And of course, on this channel, I try to highlight all sorts of games. I play the ones that I know are going to be awful, like Suicide Squad. I play ones that I think are going to be really great, like Black Myth Wukong. And I will continue to keep my eye on the Korean game market, because they are creating, in a lot of cases, really high quality, solid experiences, and I hope that continues. But we are finding out that Stellar Blade's developer Shift Up is reporting a record high revenue in their Q2 earnings report, which is still a big win for Korean developers and gamers in general, because the game infuriated so many activists. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.